Okay, so neighbor's noisy car gone, barking dog out in the backyard. This is the front yard. I'm actually kind of liking it. It's got that whole 2020 secret investigation vibe. Kind of goes along with today's motif. All right, so I was supposed to record a video last night, but I chickened out. And this morning seems to wake a lot earlier than I was supposed to be. And shit immediately started hitting my mind as soon as the alarm went off. So going back to sleep was not an option. So reason why I didn't recording last night was because it's time to start talking to you about some uncomfortable stuff. Yeah, like last night's wasn't uncomfortable. I'm sorry, the other video wasn't uncomfortable. This one's going to be more so. And if you think it's uncomfortable to listen, you ought to try experiencing it, living through it, surviving it. If this is what you call survival. The first time I was raped, I was 4 years old. It's by a teenage babysitter, and it was in the bathtub. And she forced entry. It's a new FBI term. Since 2004, 2005, it's called forced entry. Some psychiatrists think that because it's happening to a boy, it's not that big of a deal. Other psychiatrists think that it's even worse. That the only way that a woman can relate to it is that if a woman has been raped and her body reacts, such as self-lubrication and orgasm. And they say that it's even worse for a woman that happens to because her body is betraying her. I can relate to that. I get that. Because I remember at 4 years old, sitting in the tub. She wasn't trying to wash anything but one part of my body. And it was reacting in a way it had never reacted before. Or that I've never seen it react like that before. Didn't know what was going on. And I didn't know why she put me in her mouth. And I didn't understand what my body was doing. And I was scared. And I was crying. And I remember that my brother had instigated it all. I remember the bathroom door opening up and my brother telling the girl, "You've got to see it. You got to see it. You got to look at it." Up until recently, I thought I was the it. Well, I guess certain portions of me are. I don't get it. Like a girl with anorexia. When she looks in the mirror, she's fat. And it doesn't matter how skinny she is. And no one in the world can understand why she sees what she sees. I get it. Boy, do I get it. Because everything, not everything, What I've been told recently flies in the face of what's been beaten into me, literally, since I was a child. Or, now that I'm realizing it, it's not that it was beaten into me as a child, it was misinterpreted by a child. All the things said, which could have a double meaning, obviously, because I was so used to being belittled and beaten down emotionally, physically, spiritually by my family. There's no way to take it as a compliment. So, okay. So the first time I can remember. The last time I can remember. I had, I don't know how it started. I just know that I got dragged into Mom and Dad's bedroom, onto their bed, by my brother Kenneth and this girl. I don't know where Johnny was, and I don't know where Chris was. Mommy and Daddy were gone. It was just me, Kenneth, and this babysitter. And they stripped me naked, and they dragged me into Mom's bedroom, where once again she put me in her mouth. And then she got on top of me. And I remember she leaned forward. I didn't know what she was doing. My brother said, you can't do that. You can't leave Hickeys. I don't know that he said Hickeys, but I think that's how they got busted. Because I never had her again. She never babysitted me again. But the damage was done. And not just to me, but to Kenneth, my brother. He, from that moment forward, things were irreversibly changed. I was forced to perform for him. All the different memories are blurring together in this montage of madness. atrocities. I remember somebody came over to visit and they had a little girl, a little baby girl, and just a little baby. And this is after the babysitter incident. Maybe I was 5, but I don't think so. I think it was just so recent. It feels a short period of time. First he beat me, made me strip down, held the girl down, little baby down, and told me to perform on her. It was the last chance I was ever going to get. All I could do was roll up into a fetal position into the corner of the hallway and cry as Kenneth kicked me. I didn't harm that girl. Turns out, if what my wife is to say is to be believed, which I don't know, see two different things. Because I would have hurt her. That poor girl never... I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I took the beating. I've never been so happy to take a beating in my life. I didn't know I was taking a beating for that girl. I didn't know. But I'm glad. Well, I guess I got the dogs again. The reason why I'm finding this so hard to tell people is I've tried to tell a couple of people. The response has been, oh, it's not that bad. Well, if you were a girl, I would understand you feeling that kind of way, but you're a guy, and with guys, it's different. You know, I've been hearing that a lot for all my life. With guys, it's different. Well, with boys, it's different. Yeah, promiscuity when you're a child. No, with a boy, it's different. No, it's not. Having too many sexual partners can fuck up on a boy just as much as it can a girl. Having sex too early. Being raped. 53 years old. Shit's fucking debilitating. I'm standing there in a fucking daze at work as the fucking memories come fucking rushing on, because all my life I've been told, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it is. That's been the biggest burning question in my fucking mind. Last couple of days. Last week. Last 7 days. How can my wife want to touch me after this? You know, when I was 16 years old, 15, it was a really pretty girl. Oh, and she had a heart of gold. Her name was Star, and I liked her. And she was neat, and she was fun. She lived in a beautiful house, and her dad loved her, and her stepmom was really cool. And it was going to be her first time, and she was supposed to be my first time. But like everything else in my life, my family fucked that up. So I was reading a article, somebody who'd done some research. They checked out the facts on the CDC, the FBI. Turns out that wasn't until 2005, 14 years ago, that they started considering that this had two sides. Well, I don't know what to tell you. More boys are raped by girls, sexually abused by girls, than vice versa. Just what I was looking at the numbers. It's different than what I've heard. All this stuff ran through my head. All these. It wasn't just. It wasn't just girls. And Kenneth. Though he did seem to be the main protagonist. You know, he was the one constant character in the entire thing. There were other instances. My brother Chris went to juvenile hall or somewhere. And he came back. This is after me and Kenneth and the girl. This is after my first time. He came back with the new game. He called it He called it the tickle game. In case you didn't hear me, he called it the tickle game. I like that game. And here's how the game worked. He would put me in his mouth, and if I giggled, we switched until I could make him giggle. "5 years old, yeah, it wasn't too hard to make me giggle. Especially after I've already played this game. It's not, well, oral sex, turns out. I had played the oral sex game before. I had never tickle game. But, that fucking game. Oh, fuck. Oh. You know how hard it is now for me to fucking drive? And you know, this guy is like 6 years older than me. 6. 5 years older than me, I think. So, it's like going on 60. So 5, and oh my gosh. So I'm 18 years old. He had to have been 23, 25. Now, prior to, I was willing to accept that he did to me as a kid because that had been done to him as a kid. And I was willing to accept that. I could grasp that. I get it. Learned behavior and all. But at 23, 24, he tried having sex with a 12-year-old girl. Yeah, he ain't fucking harmless. Now see, if you were 12 or 13, and you look around, you're going, whoa, 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 this shit's fucking wrong. What am I doing? What the hell? And you stop. And you make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else. Okay. If it had been happening to you, it was the stuff that you were taught as a kid. And at 12 years old, which, believe it or not, is when you start seeing reason, or at least in boys, I don't know about girls, but with boys, that's why the Mormons, they said, okay, you can't be baptized until you're 13, until you can make that mental decision. Until you, well, it turns out, wow, they were actually fucking right, because around 12 or 13, I was like, whoa. Ugh. He didn't do that. Nope. That motherfucker wanted more. I don't know if he still does. But if he wants more, I'll give him more than he fucking, I will put him in a prison cell. And he might trip along the way and fall into some bars and get a little bit bruised up. Sorry, oops. But he'll make it there alive. What they do to one there? Sometimes the court don't serve up justice. I was in my 20s visiting the grandpa's house, and everybody was there, and it was a Thanksgiving, and Chris was there, and he was out playing with the children. And I told the parents, I told them, get him away from those kids. And I remember Audrey, my stepmother. Oh, Chris is harmless. Fuck you. No, he's not. Get him away from the kids. There's only a few times Audrey had ever seen those looks in my eye. One time was when I had my hands wrapped around Kenneth's throat and she had to revive him. And she knew I wasn't fucking around. And those kids got extricated from Chris, and they will never be touched by him. I fucking made sure of that. You know, after that, Chris disappeared. Moved on. Tore somebody else's fucking life up. And then tore somebody else's life up. And then again, and again, and again. And I guess he's up in Idaho, tearing other people's fucking lives up. I'm building a life. I ain't tearing shit down. That's why I'm doing this. This shit's gonna fucking tear me down. It's already tearing me down. It's fucking destroying my relationship. Making it so I can't work. I stand there like a fucking zombie. Remembering all this shit. So yeah, fuck you. Girls rape boys. And the gang rape them too. We'll get to that in the next story. Nah, I can't take no more. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your children. Start now. Watch them like hawks. Let them make mistakes. But don't let other people hurt them. And I don't care what anybody says. You just keep them away from the sex until they're fucking 30. I don't know. No, they say that science is in. The most successful marriages are based upon people with the least amount of sexual partners prior to their marriage. Turns out the church was right. The way we went about it was wrong, but yeah, they were right. Promiscuity. Fuck shit up. Stay chaste. Save yourself. Save yourself for the one that you love, and it will be special. I think. I don't know. Top of the morning to you. This is Bear. Maybe tonight.